Yes, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another brand new Rugby Muscle Podcast. I'm your host, as always, TJ, and today I am celebrating 200 episodes of the Rugby Muscle Podcast. Can you believe it? I thought about just like doing this as a regular episode and just skipping over it, but you know, every now and again you've got to take a step back and celebrate. And we've actually done 200 whole episodes, 200 episodes where I've been coming in your ears non-stop. Actually, that's completely not true. It's not non-stop. It's been rather sporadic throughout the years, this Rugby Muscle Podcast. But since 2020 began, I have made it a big priority to keep this going. And you'd think after 200 episodes, I'd get a lot better and less awkward at doing these intros. But I even said the word brig in that intro. So how about that? As always, this podcast itself is grown 100% due to you guys, and the more you guys give us reviews, it's no coincidence that we've had our most consistent, most successful year by a long stretch in the same year that we've got the most reviews, and we want to keep those coming in. So if you're on Apple Podcasts, or if you're not on Apple Podcasts, you're on Stitcher, those are the two places that 5-star reviews really help push the show. It helps push that rating, pushes it into many people's podcast feeds. It helps it become a lot more searchable and helps it rank more on Google. I think you can also rank it on 5 stars on the Google Play site as well. Always give it a thumbs up on the YouTube channel if you're listening to it on the YouTubes. That really does help out. And what you can do also is comment below, because this episode I'm going to go over 200 lessons that I have learned from 200 episodes. And this is going to be, rather than taking deep dives into anything, I'm just going to sort of give you the lessons and the tips and just move quite quickly on. In fact, it's 200 of them, so I'm going to have to move on fairly fast after every single one, which means I haven't got the time to take deep dives in. And if there's stuff that you want to know, a bit more information you want me to expand upon, comment below on the YouTube video or join the Rugby Muscle Athletes Facebook group. If you just type in Rugby Muscle Athletes on Facebook, you'll find it, and you can ask it as part of your entrance questionnaire thing that you've got to fill out to become a member. So many people go onto that group and they don't even ask the question that gets them in the group, and it says quite explicitly you won't get into the group unless you ask a question. But most people are lazy, as you'll find out. People like the easy options, and that's one of the lessons that we're going to go into. But we've also got 199 other episodes, and this is it. 200 lessons from 200 episodes. And yes, you smart asses out there, I know that it's actually 200 lessons from 199 episodes, because this is actually 200. But what are you going to do about it? It's my podcast, and we can sort of skip our way around that, okay? All right, first lesson. This stuff is simpler than you think. Number 2. You need direction to simplify. So I hate the phrase keep it simple stupid. It should be keep it simple you smart person, because you know what to simplify. Stupid people can't simplify because they don't know what simplification means. They only know all this stuff and they don't know how what the unnecessary stuff is. I hope I don't expand on every single point like I did that. Every training method creates some sort of effect. So again, that means that where people say, is this good? Well, good for what? Everything. Don't think about good or bad exercises. Think about effects that you want to create and effects that you want to cause through an exercise, and whether those are the ones that you want, and whether that exercise fits that role well. It's your job to figure out what effects you want. That's number 4. Number 5, some effects contradict each other. Number 6, you only have a limited amount of recovery resources, so you can't train for everything at once. Number 7, you could build muscle at any rep range. I guess below 50. Okay, you can use up to 50 reps and still grow muscle. Number 8, some rep ranges cause less fatigue and allow you to get more volume in. So, for example, you can build muscle quite as efficiently using, well, not efficiently, but as effectively using sets of 3 or 5 as you can sets of 8 or 10. However, doing sets of 8 or 10 for the right amount of volume is going to take you significantly less time and recovery resources than 3 and 5 repetitions. Number 9, stretching takes away from your recovery, doesn't increase your recovery, doesn't help you recover. It actually means that you need to recover from the stretching. Number 10, cold exposure might take away from your recovery and have you recover faster, but it also might take away some of the benefit of why you get of the training in the first place. Number 11, the best way to ensure you're recovered is to manage the dose. Number 12, most people do way too much in the gym, and that's why they need to recover. On that, along those lines, number 13, drop sets are mostly over-fatiguing for very little benefit. Number 14, most people make things way more complicated than they need to be. Number 15, you don't need to train isometric or eccentric focused training in order to grow. Number 16, you do need to train those contractions in order to move better. So eccentric and isometric can help you move and hold positions much better, which might help your rugby. Number 17, ladders will not help you move better. Number 18, ladders will help you get better at ladders. Number 19, nobody in a rugby game does anything that looks like any ladder drill ever. Any of those dances that you never see it, okay? Fuck off. Number 20, you don't do most gym movements in the game either, but they make you get stronger, which in turn will enhance your rugby performance and help you get better at your skills. Number 21, you don't develop anything like strength or anything with the ladders because you don't plant enough force in the ground and move yourself in any direction. Number 22, the best movement you can do to improve your stepping ability is to get strong legs. Number 23, learn to control those strong legs with good movements like sway reaches and speed skater jumps will have another profound effect on your stepping ability. Number 24, if you want to get better at stepping, you should still just practice stepping. So many guys just try and get better at stepping without actually breaking down the movement and the skill and practicing it on its own. Number 25, most people don't step anywhere near wide enough when they step. They kind of just step a few inches to the side. You want to take a big plant and turn almost like 90 degrees angle away from your opponent so you can step around them and then get back forward. Number 26, if you want to get better at beating opposition defenders, you need to read the game better and so you can time beating the opposition defenders. Number 27, you also could do with getting faster. Number 28, if you want to get faster at sprints, you should practice sprinting. Number 29, you should also get big, strong legs. Number 30, if you want rugby speed, you need to understand that the game of rugby is played in 10-meter boxes. Number 31, rarely does anyone sprint even like 40 meters at top speed in a game at all. Number 32, you should make sure you train your hamstrings to perform when stretched. Number 33, the best way to build flexibility with your hamstrings is full range of motion hip hinges. Remaining deadlifts, good mornings. Number 34, the best way to build hamstring stability is to get stronger legs. Number 34, single leg or split stance variations are fantastic to eliminate grip issues when doing hamstring focus training. Number 36, single leg split variations should nearly always be a part of your program. Number 37, barely any rugby is performed bilaterally. Think about it. In any sort of game, even if you jump, you more often than not jump in some sort of split stance or some other awkward stance. It's not common that you do anything bilateral. Number 38, there is no reason everyone has to barbell back squat. Number 39, but learning how to efficiently squat is important for general movement preparation. Number 40, deadlifts are great for total body strength building. But number 41, deadlifts are also incredibly fatiguing. Number 42, if you have the time to train quite often, it might be best to avoid the deadlifts because they fatigue you so much and take away from all of the rest of your training that you're doing. Number 43, it's perfectly okay to use straps, especially with deadlifts. Your grip should be given out before the rest of your massive legs or overall body. Number 44, overall barbell work forces you to move bilaterally even if it moves you in a weird angle. So, you're not in a natural position if you're using a barbell for the most part. Number 44, trap bar deadlifts are no better than learning to deadlift properly. Number 46, I think I might have said 44 twice. Number 46, too many people turn the trap bar deadlift into a squat and therefore don't make it a deadlift at all. Number 47, trap bar deadlift jumps can be a great alternative to doing the Olympic lifts. Number 48, all kinds of jump variations can dramatically improve your rugby power. Number 49, you don't need to jump onto a box in order to practice your jumping. Number 50, in fact, box jumps are unnecessary and they're an injury risk. You can just learn how to land properly. Number 51, more emphasis needs to be put on how to land properly. Number 52, how you land is how you move when you sprint or change direction. So you need to really work on those landing mechanics. Number 53, how you land is also going to dictate how much strain is put on your joints in awkward rugby situations. So you probably need to learn how to land properly. Number 54, Olympic lifts don't usually train any sort of landing mechanics. Number 55, Olympic lifts are usually performed in a way that take out their main benefit. That's not the Olympic lift's fault, that's your fault if you're doing them incorrectly. Number 56, barbell hang power snatch is probably the easiest variation to ensure that you're going to get triple extension and train explosively, and it's the one that I prescribe to guys the most. However, number 57, most guys don't want to hear that because they have to use really light weights to do the barbell hang power snatch, and they don't like to use light weights. Number 58, most guys go way too heavy on all of their power movements. Number 59, the catch position of a power clean can be a great way to train for rugby impact. Like, the catching of the barbell on your shoulders can definitely teach your body to go from in a catching position to really perform isometrically and then change from an eccentric to a concentric contraction as fast as possible. It's a very good thing that you can train, but it takes a lot of practice to learn that skill. And you can also just train that skill in rugby. Number 60, rugby players have no need to be able to overhead squat. I mean, if you can, kudos to you. It means you've got good shoulder mobility or hip mobility or whatever. You've got good at the skill of overhead squatting, but it doesn't really mean anything in terms of rugby. It just means you're generally good at moving. Number 61, barbell complexes aren't really beneficial for rugby. Number 62, but they are fun and tiring, which is why most guys do them. Number 63, training for powerlifting has its benefits for rugby, but powerlifting is a different sport. Number 64, the big guys that are powerlifting probably no longer need to train their strength to become a better rugby player. Number 65, the small guys that are training quote-unquote functional probably just need to get stronger. Number 66, ooh, here we go, you ready for this one? Kettlebells are mostly fucking useless. Number 67, most people will prefer a workout that makes them feel like they've worked hard over a session that actually makes them better. Number 68, you should never train with the purpose of losing fat. That's a really important one. You should never train for the sole purpose of losing fat. Number 69, training should never injure you, it should protect you. If you're getting injured by training, you're doing it wrong. Number 70, if you get a non-contact injury, there's a 99% chance it could have been prevented by efficient training and periodization. Number 71, neglecting your warm-up is a massively overlooked mistake that so many guys make in the gym. Number 72, neglecting your cool-down, same thing. And then number 73, stretching is not the purpose of a cool-down. The purpose of a cool-down is to switch off your flight or flight parasympathetic response and get you your nervous system cooling down in a relaxed state to help you recover. Number 74, finishing a warm-up with some sort of explosive or jumping movement is a really good way to sort of quote-unquote wake you up and get that fight or flight energy system going. Number 75, or nervous system going, should I say. Number 75, doing power at the end of a training session probably means you're not training power. Number 76, doing any power work in a fatigue state is just asking for injury. Number 77, doing any power in a fatigued state is just not going to improve your power anyway. Number 78, and it makes your movement mechanics worse because you're now teaching yourself to move using a labored, sort of slow movement, and you're teaching your body that's how you want to perform that skill. Not good. Number 79, kind of related, right? CrossFit does not train you for rugby. Number 80, rugby is a mostly aerobic sport. Number 81, most guys do not train their aerobic system anywhere near enough to get the full benefit of what that aerobic system can provide you in a game of rugby. Nowhere near. Number 82, Aerobic work is ignored because most it's too easy. Training the heart feels too easy and it's too boring. It's not something guys want to do. Number 83, people don't have the patience to work their aerobic system well enough to see the huge benefit that it can give them. They're very quick to dismiss it and they say, oh, I'm not doing any aerobic work, because you haven't put the time in to do it. This stuff takes time. The aerobic system, if it develops properly, will make you a much better rugby player if you allow it the time. Number 84, anaerobic work has a very quick ceiling that you can improve upon, but you reach it after a couple of weeks, and then all you're doing is just making yourself tired. So after about 4 or so weeks of anaerobic work, you've improved at your anaerobic threshold, you've got a bit better. You're not going to get any better after that, any anaerobic, unless you work your aerobic system or your power system. Number 85, aerobic work, on the other hand, has so much room for development. Think about the fact that all of us listening to this podcast, everyone in the world is capable of running a marathon. Think how much better your aerobic system can get, and think how much better that can improve you at rugby. Number 86, tempo work is a great way to train the aerobic system whilst also working skills and being relatively fun. Number 87, same can be said for low-level circuit training. Number 88, your anaerobic system gives out in the game because your aerobic system isn't efficient enough to take over and help you recover. Number 89, rarely does a high-intensity action in rugby take longer than 5 to 10 seconds at most. Think about any high-intensity action, think about anything that you're doing in rugby, any play that you're involved in. How long does a high-intensity action last? Never longer than that. Number 90, unless you thought about mauls and rucks, which are the only exceptions, as are long runs in the backs, but they can be trained on the occasion. But again, having an efficient aerobic system will help you recover from those efforts. Number 91, because of what I've just said, you should train high-intensity power movements for 5 to 10 seconds with different variations and different recovery methods. Number 92, with this in mind, to be the best conditioned athlete, you're going to have a high ceiling, aka a well-developed high-intensity phospho ATP PC system. Just high intensity for you guys that aren't in the science. Number 93, that means that if you are so powerful with this system, you can perform all your skills, rucks, tackles, all that stuff easily without dipping into without doing it in a fatigue state and without building up that fatigue, because you're working at a lower percentage of your absolute max because you are that good at those skills. Number 94, you should also have a low floor, aka a well-developed aerobic system to allow you to recover from those high-intensity efforts more often. Number 95, even if you think most of your work, or even during periods where most of your work is in the middle, right? So you've got your high and then your low intensities. Even if you're doing lots of work that's in the middle, you're better prepared by having a high ceiling and a low floor, because you've then got more room to move around in that middle. Number 96, your fitness in general is going to be up to you, not your rugby coaches, not your teammates. It's something that you need to fix to become a better rugby player. Number 97, most rugby coaches are clueless when it comes to the fitness development and the fitness requirement for rugby players. Number 98, most amateurs don't need the same training as professionals who already have a great base and great, they're already at the dance. They've already got what it takes to be a professional. Now they're refining. Amateurs aren't that. Number 99, you need to make time for your own fitness before or after rugby training. That's a really good time to utilize if you want to get some quality field work done without taking a lot of time out of your week. Number 100, many players are going to come out of lockdown in the worst shape of their life and get injured. Number 101, many players are going to come out of lockdown and not play because of the shape they're in, and that's just, they might not ever play rugby again, which is really unfortunate. Number 102, those that come out of lockdown in better shape will get a serious reward for doing so. I really, truly believe that, because you will just get a huge advantage and you will be able to really reap the fruits of your hard work that you've done during whatever lockdown you're in, whatever COVID situation you're currently in your country. Number 103, staying at home can make your diet harder because you've got access to more snacks and stuff. Number 104, staying at home can also make it easier if you're prepared. Number 105, most people have no diet to begin with, like no idea of what their diet is, so they kind of eat on a whim, and therefore they're always going to fail. Number 106, the more prepared you are with your diet, the more successful you will be. 107, preparation is work. So if you're not prepared to prepare all the time, then you're going to screw yourself. AKA, if you're constantly relying on over preparation, the second that you decide that that's too much effort is the second that you're going to fail. Number 108, if you are prepared, you'll just have an idea of most of your breakfasts, most of your lunches, and not have to use discipline or think about it too much. Number 109, you also have an idea of your calories for the day, what you either should be achieving or what you're probably going to eat on a daily basis. Number 110, you should strive to eat around 2 to 3 grams per kilo of lean body weight. Number 111, that seems like a lot because you're not as lean as you think. Lean body weight is the key part of that. 2 grams per pound or 2.2 grams per kilo of total body weight is a good start, or just 2 grams per kilo of total body weight is a good start if you have no idea on your body fat percentage. You could also just use the macro calculator at rugby-muscle.com/macros and figure it out, or let me figure it out for you by copying that and entering your details in there. Hi guys, I just wanted to jump in here to tell you that if you're enjoying this podcast and you want to become a better athlete, then you can go ahead and visit rugby-muscle.com and pick up any of our free goodies. That is the 50 free rugby conditioning sessions, the Physique Nutrition Crash Course video series, the supplement guide, and newly added is a macro calculator. Yes, that's right, a macro calculator where you will be able to work out your protein, carbs, fat, and calories that you should be eating on a daily basis to give you a guide as to where to start your diet from. This will help in conjunction with your 50 free conditioning sessions to build you out a decent little plan that will enable you to take control of your training and use effective training and nutrition to become a better athlete. All of that stuff and more can be found at rugby-muscle.com or rugby-muscle.com/macros for the macro breakdown. Number 112, your actual accurate body fat percentage is kind of a pointless measure. Number 113, comparing your body fat to others is even more pointless. Number 114, if you want to gauge leanness, use other methods like visual methods or calipers, or just how you look and how you fit into clothes or whatever. Number 115, the protein number that I mentioned earlier might seem even high still, but that's because you've never been eating for performance. Like this is now we're talking about how much protein you want to perform at your best, not just to survive. Government numbers, recommended daily analysis, they're just to keep you alive. We want more than that. We want you to thrive. Number 116, you don't necessarily need that much protein, but from what I found, it's always good to aim high if your goal is to perform and recover at your best. So don't get down on yourself if you can't hit that number, but the higher you are, the best chance you've got. Number 117, if you're plant-based, this is going to be even more difficult, which is where quote-unquote supplementation comes in. Number 118, with that being said, I do see protein powder as a food rather than a supplement. Number 119, if you have problems with hunger, you shouldn't be drinking calories. Number 120, for protein powder, that means you want to eat it as like a smoothie bowl with ice and frozen fruits, or you can bake it with, make pancakes with it. Eating your protein powder is a good way to make sure that it is still satiating. Number 121, if you're having trouble eating enough, doing the opposite can help. So drinking your calories is a good idea if you really cannot stomach enough to gain some quality mass. Number 122, in reality, most people don't actually have that trouble of eating enough calories. Once they get organized and once they have enough solid meals, it's very easy to eat enough to consistently gain muscle. Number 123, cereal is a great way to increase your post-training carbs. And then if you have it with a protein powder, like a protein shake instead of milk, boom, you got yourself a perfect post-training snack. Again, that's when you're organized, and that can smash the amount of calories and carbohydrates that you consume on a daily basis and help you achieve that number. Number 124. Pre and post training definitely can help your recovery. Number 125. But you have 2 to 3 hours either side of your training, not a few minutes. 126. The minutes argument, or myth, I guess, was invented by the supplement industry to sell you protein powders that you could sneak in straight away as soon as you finish a gym session. 127, most sports nutrition information that is popular, most of the myths out there, they've been funded, and the studies is funded by multi-billion-dollar supplement industry. Number 128, this is one of the main reasons we get misinformation and bias towards supplementation when it comes to our diet. Number 121, the other reason for supplements being so prevalent is that it's kind of sexy. We think supplements will give us a shortcut to better results. Number 130, in reality, supplements are a supplement. That's in the name. They're used to fill gaps in your diet. They're used to supplement your diet and fill the gaps where you need to. And they do have a place, but that's their place. Number 131, a multivitamin should be the very first supplement that you consider. Number 132, if you're chugging tons of pre-workout before every single session, you could probably be better served putting your efforts somewhere else. Number 133, caffeine is probably the only pre-workout supplementation you actually need. Number 134, you don't even need it, sorry. It's just the best one that you can do. Now, 134, creatine monohydrate is a simple, well-researched supplement that works fantastic. Number 135, but it doesn't work in the short term. It's a long-term acting supplement. So take it every day, whenever. It's not something that you need to take at a certain time to increase your training. Number 136, the same applies for beta-alanine. Even though you get your tingly skin, just take beta-alanine on a daily basis and you will see some improvements. Number 137, many great dieters are constantly ruined by weekend binges, or many great diets. I guess both works. Weekend binges are one of the biggest problems that I see people run into when it comes to their diet. Number 138, because it's not that hard to eat up to 5,000 calories on a big Saturday or a Sunday or even a Friday or even a Friday, Saturday and Sunday. That means you've eaten 15,000 calories over 3 days. Even if you have 1,000 calories for the next 4, that's still, off the top of my head, something like 3,000 calories every single day at least, or something like that. So you're going to fuck yourself up. I'm 131. 1 day of higher calories does not alter your metabolism in any way. Doesn't stoke the furnace or help your metabolism for the rest of the week. 1 day of high calories makes no difference. So carb cycling, nah. Number 140, weeks of sustained dieting does slow down your metabolism, but not in the way you think. Number 141, dieting makes you more efficient and lazy, which makes you, in turn, burn less calories. Number 142, most people go to extreme diets because they don't have the patience to lose just a half a kilo a week. Number 143, if you learn solid basic nutrition habits, you'll experience some good weight loss if you don't have solid nutrition habits already. Number 144, but more importantly, you'll give yourself a smaller chance of rebounding when you stop. Number 145, if you do go from diet to diet with no real sense of basic nutrition habits, you're never going to stop dieting. You're just going to go from diet to diet. You're always going to fail because you're always going to need to be on a diet to have any sort of control of your nutrition. Number 146, so that's why you need good nutrition habits, such as eat protein at every meal. Number 147, just have 3 to 5 big meals, supplemented by 0 or up to 3 smaller sort of snack meals. That's a good structure, general structure that pretty much everyone can follow. 148, the amount of meals you have, however, has no bearing on your weight loss or fat gain or anything like that. Number 149, neither does the time that you eat. So carbs past 5 p.m. or eating and breaking your fast early in the morning, none of that really matters. 150, the exception to both of those is how it affects you personally with either your training or your hunger levels. Number 151, if you eat your food properly and don't graze, you'll feel more satiated and control your calories a lot more easier. That goes back to the 3 to 5 big meals and the 0 to 3 snack meals. I wouldn't call them snacks. I would never eat on the go, because number 152, you want to be as conscious of the food that you're eating as possible. If we're distracted when we eat, we often forget it, and we forget the amount of calories, and we don't even pull the satiating effects of eating from it. Number 153, 6 to 9 servings of fruit or veg a day is a good target. Number 154, 3 of these should be green, and then the rest should be as colorful as possible. Real basic. Don't overthink this stuff. Number 155, you're not hungry, you're just bored. 156, intermittent fasting is a convenient way to eat if you aren't hungry in the mornings. Number 157, however, there is no magic to intermittent fasting. It just allows you to control your calories over a smaller window and or fewer meals. Number 158, most guys go way too fast when they go to a muscle gaining phase. Number 159, muscle building takes a long time. Think about 10 kilos in a year would be absolutely amazing progress. It'd be unrealistic for most guys listening to this podcast. But divide that up over 12 months, and you see that that's not even 1 kilo a month, and that's still unrealistic in terms of muscle gaining for most people. So, food for thought, pardon the pun. Number 160, any faster than that, and you're just going to end up gaining unnecessary fat. Number 161, there is a good chance that you'll gain some fat when you're gaining muscle, but that's kind of necessary to ensure that you're eating enough to gain muscle. Number 162, most guys overestimate how many calories they need before a game. Number 163, 6 grams per kilo of muscle is the most that you would need to eat in preparation for a game. So, 100 kilo front row forward or back row would need about 600 grams of carbs in a lead up to a game. That could be split, which is number 164. This could be easily spread over the day before into 6 meals with 100 grams of carbohydrates each for that example, or for however much you need, and you'll be ready for the game. Now 165, on the day of a game, you probably don't want to eat too many vegetables, especially in the hours before the game, because it will slow down your digestion. You don't want to be wasting blood flow on your digestive system. You want it all in your fueling your performance. 166, same goes for fats. Now 167, this won't make you quote unquote unhealthy if you don't eat vegetables for a morning or a day. It's how many vegetables you eat throughout the week or weeks on end. Number 168, the body is remarkably good at storing nutrients, so don't overthink any nutrient that you need ever. Now 169, the healthier you are, the better potential you'll have to be as an athlete. And that doesn't matter if you say healthier properly or you say healthier like I do, because I'm a lazy Londoner twat. 170, rugby is a skill sport, so many players could be better, without having any decent health markers at all. They could still be good players, aka you know who. Number 171, nearly every professional now has a decent amount of muscle, which makes sense because having a decent amount of muscle gives you potential to do everything else better. Number 172, having a great aerobic system will make you healthier and a better athlete. Number 173, you should still do aerobic work when you're trying to gain muscle and strength because it keeps you healthy. It's called cardio. It's in the name, cardio. We're talking about the heart here. We're talking about health. Did you notice that I said health correctly, even though half the time I'm saying my THs as Fs? I don't know what's going on, but I think it's because I'm heading towards the end of here. I'm getting in my own head, and we're nearly there. We're nearly at 200. So, 174, doing aerobic work when you're in muscle gaining phases, when you're in strength phases, when you're in the off season, will give you less work to do when pre-season does roll around again. Number 175, the fitter you are, the quote-unquote tougher you are. Number 176, the more skilled and fitter you are, the more confident you are. Number 177, the fitter you are, the better decisions you'll make in a game because you can focus on those decisions rather than how tired you are. Think about how distracting things are when they're going on in the background. If you're really, really tired, that's something that is distracting you in the background and allows you to focus less on the decisions that you're making. Number 178, the stronger you are, the bigger your room for error is with all of your contact skills, because you can make up for it with extra strength. Number 179, the leaner you are, the less weight you have to carry around the field on you, and therefore the easier it is to move around. So getting leaner is a good idea. Number 180, your training split doesn't matter anywhere near as much as what you're doing in those sessions. Number 181, you should ideally split your training into higher stress days and lower stress days, and then spread those high and low stress days evenly across the week. So you wouldn't have 2 consecutive high stress days at the beginning. You try and spread them as much as you can, at least taking 1 day between 2 high days. 182, achieving better performance comes from first analyzing what better performance means for you. Number 183, most people don't analyze exactly what that is and what they need to do to get better. Number 184, once you do that, it's far easier for you to stay focused, as there's less noise from the outside world telling you all these other all these other things that you need to do. No, you know what you need to focus on. You know that all this other noise telling you all this other stuff that you can do isn't necessary. Number 185, the trouble and the struggle really is keeping focused on the few areas that you need to and ignoring those other distractions. Number 186, and the few things you need to do to improve those areas. So not just the areas that you need to focus on, but the few things that you need to focus on to improve the areas that you're focusing on. Number 187, the more things that you can measure, the more you can spot trends and figure out exactly what is working and what is improving you as a player. 188, measuring is about consistency. Most stats are completely pointless because they're taken 1 time or maybe 2 times. They're not done enough in order to make comparisons and figure out if stuff works or not. They're just taken and then they're on an island. No point. Number 189, take easy, frequent data points for your analysis, like weight, macros, training numbers, energy, sleep, and subjective well-being. Anything that's easy to document on a regular basis, that is going to give you quality data that you can use to figure out if you're heading in the right direction. Here we go. We're on the last part of the list, 190. Emotionally, it gets really easy to become impatient if you're not tracking these numbers because you don't know that you're getting better. Number 191, emotionally, it also becomes easy to make excuses because in that moment, those excuses feel real. It feels like you don't have time to train more. It feels like you are always going to be a bigger person. It feels like whatever, Those excuses in the moment feel real unless you're kept accountable. 192, it's easy also to fall back into negative self-talk because that keeps you in your comfort zone. And if you're not tracking enough data, you don't know that you're improving, that negative self-talk is going to come up and keep you in your comfort zone. Now, 193, we do have a bit of a don't get above your station culture in rugby that doesn't encourage progression the way it should. It doesn't encourage players to get better. We try to, with this podcast and with the Rugby Muscle environment, we're trying to build an encouraging, space, not a safe space for fuck's sake, but an encouraging space where guys want to get better and they're not looked down upon but as being keynos or anything like that. Number 194, we do have a culture in fitness where particularly guys love to fix everything for themselves rather than seek an expert to help them do so. Number 195, they continually then question themselves because of this, and they feel like they always need to do more because they're not an expert. They just feel like they need to do more and more and more and more, and we've already seen that that's not the battle that they should be doing. 196, it also gets easy to panic when you're looking at this emotionally and you are yourself, you're living through your experiences and feel like that you are not doing enough, feel like you are being lazy. I've dealt with more rugby players that are being harsh on themselves and think that they're doing not enough, when in fact most of them actually need to do less and just focus on what they need to focus on. Okay, we are so close. Number 197, having a personal coach will keep you accountable in order to see that you can do more than you think you're capable of. Number 198, however, keeping you accountable does not, sometimes it means that to make you see that you don't need to do more, that you don't need to panic, that you need to just stay on the course. Number 199, a coach has an objective look at your training and nutrition. You don't have an objective look. You are an emotional person. You have, this looking at your training, looking at your nutrition is an emotional decision that you've got to make. A coach removes that emotion because it's not them. Number 200, a coach also has an invested interest in your development. So it is something that I do encourage guys to do. rugby-muscle.com/elite. I hope it didn't get a little bit too pitchy at the end there, but those are 200 lessons that I have learned over the years of doing the Rugby Muscle podcast. I hope I didn't sort of start to talk myself into a bit of a coma there towards the end. That dragged on a little bit, and it's a bit different, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, if you did, 5-star reviews are always welcome. Or if you're not sure how to do the 5-star reviews, always shoot me a message, TJ_rugby, or take screenshots of the podcast. Tag me at TJ_rugby, tag at Rugby Muscle, but mostly TJ_rugby because I always forget to check the Rugby Muscle Instagram feed. And with that all done, thank you for joining me for the 200th special episode. Thank you for helping support the show, helping me get to 200 episodes. I can't wait to do 100 more in the new year. We will be doing 100 more in the new year, so I might be sat here giving you 300 lessons, and I'll probably still be talking like a special person, pronouncing my THs as Fs, and doing all the nonsense that you have come to expect of your boy TJ here on the Rugby Muscle Podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining. I'll see you in the next one. All right, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed that episode of the Rugby Muscle Podcast, then I've got a quick little request and a potential prize giveaway for you if you do said request. All I want you to do is go to Apple Podcasts and type up a 5-star review. Just your general opinions of the podcast would be great feedback, but also helps us reach higher rankings, get more exposure, allow me to attract more guests and devote more time to developing a better all-around podcast experience for you. All you have to do, once again, is go and give us a 5-star review on whatever podcast service you use. Let me know that you've got it, and then every single week I'll be selecting one review to give away a free prize. That free prize will be either 1 free month of Team Rugby Muscle. That's our world-class strength and condition program app delivered directly to your phone. Or if that doesn't interest you, then we've got 1 free consultation where I'll go over your training program, your nutrition, and advise you how to best plan for your goals. Even if none of those things interest you, it's still doing me a solid and helping the podcast grow by going and giving us a 5-star review. There's no real excuse. It takes like 1 minute and that helps the show out exponentially. So I'd really appreciate it if you could do that. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'll see you in the next one.